just me and my guitar.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark back here. I'm at AQUATICS. We're in the shed again, and I think what we're going to have to do on this little episode, I'm going to make another sheep food out of what we had left from the shrimp matches video that I did a while back, sometime back, that one. Go back and have a look at that, and it shows you basically, well, there was two videos actually. There was the shrimp lollies video, was the first one, and that will show you how to prepare your leaves and everything that went into that. Okay, the second video was just showing you all the powders, and I was telling you about what I put into that, and I can give you a quick little run through again on what we used. I'll just level you up a bit there because you that's better. Yeah, what mixtures, what things that I put into these. I put some beech leaves in there, I put oak leaves in there, spirulina, Genchem polytes, not a lot of that, just a small pinch of that, and mixed it in with it as well. Some nori off the top of my head. But yeah, if you're unsure how I made that, go and look at the shrimp lollies video, and that'll tell you and show you how I did the leaves and dehydrated the leaves to make the powders up to make that dough. Okay, and then you'll be a bit more the wiser. Right, so what we've got here is the leftover dough, which has now been defrosted for a few hours, and as you can see, it's still nice and sticky and pliable. So now we can do whatever we want with it. Now I moulded it onto the end of those matches last time, just for like a weekend feed. Put a fairly big blob on the end, and that lasted my shrimps nicely over the weekend. It was a good little holiday food for them. If you go away anywhere, then you can just bung one of them in your tank, and you know it's going to last you a couple of days. Obviously depending on the amount of shrimp that you've got in your system as well. Make the if you want to make the matches, like I say, go back and have a look at the video, and it all depends on how many shrimp you've got in your personal tanks as to how big you want to make the matches. Okay, because if you can gauge it around how many they, how much you're going to eat, because you don't want food sitting around in your tanks for too long. So we got this dough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make some sheep food out of this, and we'll get it nice and thin on the old board. So what I'm going to use, because it's like a dough and it's still very sticky, if I roll it on here, I know what's going to happen. It's just going to stick to it. So I'm going to use some of the old Genchem polytes there. Not a lot, not a great deal. It's going to get mixed right the way through this, and it's not going to really harm the drying process too much. So I'll put about that much on, and then we can just give that a circular motion. You can see that fine powder now has made that all over my hands nice and white. But now we can roll it out, put a bit on the old rolling pin as well. You're probably better off if you just roll one way. Some little bits of the goldfish there, look. They love this stuff. I just want to get this as thin as we can. Put in there, I think it's the nori that makes this so so sticky. Here, I'll some more for you guys. Look, put a little bit more on here. That's a bit better. I think the board may have been a bit damp from being in the shed as well, guys. So, and this isn't going to harm it, because this is all shrimp food that we're using here. We're not using anything like flour or anything like that. So now we're just moving that around, and then we can start pushing that out again. That's really nice and thin now. So I think there's a little thicker bit of that in, we'll just roll him out a little bit. And because that's now really thin, it's going to dry a lot quicker too. Now we can get our knife. We can just chop some bits off and square it up a bit. But now we've got a really nice fine little square sheet of it there, see? And this bit there we got left over, now we can just roll that back up again. And we got another ball of it again, see? And we can roll that out and do the same thing. I'll do that and then I'll get back to you, alright? Alright guys, now we've done these now. These have both been done. As you can see now, it's just like a piece of leather. Some kitchen towel, which I've got around here. Because what you want to do now is you just want to dry these out. So what we want to do is we want to take our two little sheets. That's what it looks like. You see how it stays together and it doesn't break up. And that's how thin it is. And we can lay that on there like that. And then what we can do is get our little knife and we can just literally just score it now. Right guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed this up a bit because it's going to take a while to cut all these little, to score all this, and I'll get back to you when it's done and we can have a look and go over what we've done. I've scored it all up. A few of the little pieces came off there, but don't worry about that because you're going to break it all up in the end anyway when it's dry. So now we've got to leave it now until it dries. It can take up to a few days, but just leave it in your house in the room temperature somewhere, but wrap it up in the tissue, and the tissue will help to take the moisture out. Okay. Hey guys, we are back. It's been a few days. We've had some nice sunny days as well, which has been nice. We've had these outside. Now what I've done is I put these in between kitchen roll to dry them, and I left them outside, and I put a Pyrex bowl on the top just to keep them pressed flat. There you go. You can see it's all done now. All flat. They just look at that, look. They just snap up now where you've scored them into little tiny squares. Now, so all you want is a little tiny square like that, see? And then you can chuck them in the tank. So what we're going to do is we're just going to break them all up now. Doesn't matter if they don't snap exactly on the line, because you just want to break it up into small pieces. Okay guys, we're all snapped up now. We've got a good heap of it there. Now this will keep indefinitely in a pot, and you keep it dry, keep some tissue in there. I don't know if you remember, or if you haven't seen the video and you're interested in drying leaves, go back and have a look at my video where I've been drying leaves. These are actually avocado leaves off of my own tree out in my garden, but as you can hear, they're lovely and dry, and this is how I prep my food for my shrimps in the winter, you see. Got all different types of leaves in here. I'll just go out of it. But this is how I keep them nice and dry. Keep them in a nice little Tupperware box. There you go, look, some big old raspberry leaves there underneath. This is only some I've got a lot more I've stored away. Nettles. If you do all this kind of thing in the summer, then you're not going to be able, you're not going to be denying the old shrimps anything in the winter time then, because you can keep all this fresh. If you want to just rehydrate it, you can just put it into some hot water again, and it will reabsorb the water and rehydrate them. Or you can just soak them like in the tank until they sink like normally. But what I've got to do, I've got a little pot here now. Look at that, I made a little pot. My little logo on it. Because I'm a silly sod like that, I like doing daft things. Now, we can put that in there. That's going to say, all that is an old chewing gum pot, which I keep stuff in, because that keeps things nice and dry. You can put a bit of tissue or something in the base. Just put some in there and put it on the top, that'll help keep things dry. And, well, we'll just go back through the ingredients and things of what I can remember what I think I put in there now. I think we had the nori in there. We had nettles, we had beech leaves, we had oak leaves, spirulina. I'd put a little bit of that Genchem polytase in there, which if you're a shrimp keeper you should have anyway, to feed those little shrimplets and to keep everything going nicely. But it will float first of all, and then you just give it a little tap and down it goes. And they're on it like little piranhas. I think what we should do now is we'll go in, I can show you, I'll bung some in the shrimp tanks, and I'll put this in the pot now. And that's going to be my feed now for the next, right, definitely the next good few weeks. I'll say I've got a lot of shrimp in my system, so there's a bit of the powder left there, which is, we can just empty into this little tank. Here's our little tub of food. Now we'll chuck some in. You can hear it how dry it is. So I'll get a couple of bits, but you should be able to see it fall into the bottom. You should see some little oxygen traces coming out of it. There it goes. And they're onto it, look at that. It'll take them 2 seconds to get onto that. And considering they fed quite well yesterday. I'll just chuck some on the other side now. For the crystal reds. Yeah, right, they're fighting over that, look. That's how tasty it is. I'll chuck a couple of bits of, put a couple of bits more in. And that will last quite a while, guys, that will. So I've got quite a lot of shrimp in this system, so I'll put a few bits in. Snap the top back on the lid, and that will now last you for a good old long time. And it's very, very simple to replicate and make some more, because you just got to go back if you're unsure, look at the videos and make some more up. As my daughter would say, Daddy's humbug factory. I like that one. No end of them, and more on the way, look. More on the way there. They certainly do tuck into them. And the good thing about that Genchem polytase that we put in there as well, that's slowly going to get released as they're tugging away on it, the bigger ones, and ingesting that. Fine particles of that are going to be thrown up into the water column as well. So all the babies in there, they'll be feeding off of that as well. So it's a good all round little food, this one. Let's go and see how the old yellow sakuras in the aquascape are doing with theirs. Yep, they're enjoying theirs as well, look. Anyway guys, I hope you like that little video. It's something else that you can make with that paste. What you want to make is pretty endless. You can do it as thick or as thin as you like. I like to do it thinner like that because it dries quicker and it's quicker to process. And you can get it stored away and you can go mad. You can make a huge batch of that stuff up and it's going to be really healthy for your shrimps. Nice little treats there, and a staple food as well, being all the leaves and different things. So give that a go if you're feeling crafty one afternoon. Anyway guys, hope you like that little video. Like, share and subscribe if you like the videos that I'm doing. If you're new to the channel, pop back and have a look at some of the other videos that I've done. It might encourage you to subscribe to the channel. And as always, you're all the stars. Look after yourselves. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.